too long, I just want to conclude by pointing out a few things that I think wrap up what we heard about today, that began or centered around the 850,000 Jews from Arab lands and Iran, one of whom actually was my grandfather from Iraq, who didn't leave because he chose to. He left after the Farhud pogroms that actually ethnically cleansed the majority of the Middle East from its Jewish populations in Arab lands and Iran. And I say that because in the intersection with October 7th and the atrocities of the intersection of October 7th, I think that we would be remiss if we did not quote the late Golda Meir, who I've had the pleasure of spending some time with Deborah in the last 2 days. So another quote was that the world hates a Jew who hits back. The world loves us only when we are to be pitied. Golda Meir. Now, the reason that I think that that is an important quote at this moment, post 10/7, and when we look at what the Abraham Accords prospectively offered, was the paradigmal shift. That whereas in 1948, and by the way, a lot of what we saw here, and actually also the responses to 10/7 made very clear this is not about 1967, right? It's not about land or Judea and Samaria, and it's not. This is about 1948. It says it everywhere in all of the signs. This is about 1948. It's about 75 years. Now, 75 years ago, Jews, a prototypical indigenous people that speak the same language, Hebrew, and read the same book, the Bible, and light the same Hanukkah candles tonight, the 8th candle, for thousands of years, returned to an ancestral homeland. And in the war against the State of Israel, or the continued wars launched from 1948 and until 1973, actually, the failure to destroy the State of Israel led to what I would call the unconventional war for public opinion, beginning with the 3 no's of Khartoum. We haven't mentioned them: no to recognition, no to negotiation, and no to peace with Israel. What the Abraham Accords actually hold potentially, and what the curriculum adjusted show, is the transition or the paradigmal shift from the 3 no's to the 3 yeses. Begin with yes to recognition of Israel as what it was founded to be, a Jewish democratic state. Yes to negotiation with Israel enables the yes to peace with Israel. That's the hope that I believe that in many ways October 7th, amongst other things, is an attack on, pushing back that prospective, potential paradigmal shift that allows and enables the recognition to be the first step, and in many ways allows and enables us to understand why it is critical that we recognize the mutation of anti-Semitism, the oldest hatred in the world, as Professor Wistrich called it, the oldest hatred that has mutated over time by latching on to guiding social constructs, religion, science, the secular religion of our time, social justice or human rights, if you will, and right back to religion, as we have seen. What 10/7 did for the world, and I believe it's a moment that we shouldn't miss, like 9/11, what 10/7 did was create an understanding of the intersection of what Professor Lipstadt referred to, Special Envoy Lipstadt referred to as the extreme right or the extreme left or the extreme Islam, right? The key word being extreme. It is about extremism that undermines not just democratic values, but any society which enables it to fester and permeate, including those countries from which 850,000 Jews were expelled after years of, and hundreds of years of contributing and being active members of those societies. I think that at this moment in time, and as we prepare to light the 8th candle of Hanukkah, that actually celebrate the courage and the moral clarity with which Jews reclaimed the right to their religion, to their identity, and to be a part of whatever, in this case, geopolitical entity they are in the middle of, that is the Middle East, and their ancestral homeland and sovereignty. I think that we have a great, great prospective, hopeful message, but it requires moral clarity and courage to identify the mutation of anti-Semitism as what 10/7 showed, which is the denial of Israel's very right to exist, 1948, as I said, and not 1967, and identify and combat that strain of anti-Semitism using the hope of the Abraham Accords with a paradigmal shift to the 3 yeses. Yes to recognition of the State of Israel as what it was founded to be, a Jewish democracy. Yes to negotiation with that state for all populations in the area, including Palestinians, and yes, to peace in the region and amongst all countries in this region and beyond. So thank you for this very informative panel. Thank you, Wuti, for putting together this very important discussion, and thank you all for being here and really infusing us with hope as we prepare to light this 8th candle of Hanukkah for hope and miracles. Thanks.